Finally at 6, it was a small town in Lycoming County that came and went almost in the blink of an eye.
But our Mike Stevens found it 30 years ago. He takes us on a visit to Alvira and this trip back down the Pennsylvania road.
The village of Alvira in the 1920s. 2 decades later, it was gone.
What happened was they came in and they totally destroyed each and every one of the buildings. They leveled them.
Gary Weaver knows nearly everything about Alvira. He's researched it, spoken to people who live there, as his grandparents did. It's an interesting story, but you can't appreciate it here in Gary's home. There is a state game land where the village once stood, straddling the Lycoming and Union County boundaries.
Well, here's part of the sidewalk.
60 or so families once lived here, but you must know where to look, then look hard to find evidence they did.
These stone steps to the evangelical church.
Alvira, Gary says, had an annual income of nearly $1 million. There were businesses along Main Street, including a garage run by his grandfather.
Here we go. Right here's where their house was. Right here.
The shop was next door, the school next to that. In all, Alvira was a fine place to live and work. So what happened to it? Well, World War II happened.
They posted the notice on like the general store in the church and social hall, and it came out in flyers through the mail that the government was going to build this ammunition factory, and that's what happened.
Alvira was leveled, and off to one side of the Main Street a munitions bunker was built, one of many built to store the factory's products. Walk inside and the slightest noise bounces around the dome in a continuous loop. But all of it was for naught. The factory produced a handful of ammunition and the war was over. The plant was no longer needed.
They just packed their bags and left, so that was it.
But they never put Alvira back into shape.
No, and they never even gave the residents a chance to get their land back either. It was just, well, tough beans.
The cemetery is still here, a few more remnants, but mostly there is only wind stirring autumn leaves and perhaps a memory or two of a village that once was. One that now exists only in faded photos and angry feelings about it all.
A sense of hatred, bitterness. Why in the hell did they have to do it? So, what more can you say?
I'm Mike Stevens, News Watch 16, on the Pennsylvania Road in Lycoming County.